There's a video on YouTube. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know what's the title, but I do remember watching it recently, where basically it's 10 minutes. I mean, the guy's from YC, first of all, Y Combinator, and it's a speech where he's telling people in under 10 minutes everything that he teaches startups that go through the YC program. And basically, I'm not sure actually if it's this video or if it's another one, but I do know I remember this advice, and he says two things. It's important for you to have one, if you're starting a startup, you have to your co-founders, you guys have to be at least 2 to 4 people, and 50% of the team, the co-founders, has to be technical, has to be an engineer, a developer, whatever. So you can go in if you need anything and change on the spot. A client complained about something, you go in, you change, you push to production, and then boom, it's fixed. And this advice is so important. I see now at the startup I'm working at, we have only one founder, and he's not technical. He's a businessman, and he hired someone. He had to hire a founding engineer. He didn't get a co-founder. He hired a founding engineer to spin up our code base and the whole project and everything. And now that we don't have that guy anymore, he started the code base, he started everything, and now a year and something. Yeah, we are a year and a half, I think. I don't know. Anyways, now that it's been a year since he started, he's not with us anymore. And even when he was, it wasn't as fast as it should be, because he was working normal hours. And if you have a co-founder, for example, if you have someone who's in the trenches with you and he's a technical co-founder, any problem that you have, any bug, any major critical issue, your technical co-founder can just go in the code base and fix in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because he made all the architectural decisions. He knows where everything is. He knows all the functions. He knows everything. I mean, with AI nowadays, less and less, maybe depends on who's your co-founder. But I do realize now, I just made this correlation between where the place I work at and this video of the YC guy, where he talks about it's important to have 50% of your engineering, of your co-founders, to be in the technical side of things. Because, for example, real story, we had a call with our first client here a week ago, and the person went into the platform, found a bug, and we had to fix the bug. Now, here's the problem. If we had a technical co-founder who knew the entire code base, who knew everything, the guy responsible for spinning up everything, as soon as the call ended, he could have gone into the code base and fixed the issue. But because there is no technical co-founder and our dev team is majorly in Europe, we had to wait 5, 6. I mean, I don't even know, because they work overnight, right? The hours they overlap by like 1 hour. When we are sleeping here in North America, they're working in Europe, and we had to wait 5 to 6 hours for the problem to be fixed, because even though my role in this startup is basically, well, everything. First of all, everything basically, and it was an authentication issue related to Clerk that I couldn't fix because it's not in my domain. One of the guys is responsible for that, and so we just pushed that to him. But now, if you had a technical co-founder, someone who was in the call, listening to talking to the customer, to the client, and then saw the problem they had, and he already has an idea of, maybe this happened because of X, because I remember Z thing happened 2 months ago and I had to change this, and this might be the problem. And then in 5 minutes after the call ended, he just goes in the code base and he fixes the problem. And immediately, I mean, not immediately, the problem was last week, and I just made the correlation of why it's important to have a co-founder who is technical, because you need someone who can just do things like this. And I have a friend, he's in the, I wouldn't say, I mean, it's a startup. He went to Techstars, to San Francisco and stuff. And basically he told me at some point that his problem was not adding features, because for him, with AI, it's so easy to add a new feature. So if a client came up to him and said, hey, I would love to have this here, can you add it? He could do it like this in a click of fingers. Click? I don't think it's click. Anyways, he could spin it up fast and push to production and tell the person in like less than an hour, hey, it's done. You can go check it out. And his biggest problem was just getting customers, because he could add new features super easily because he knew where everything was, and then he would just tell the AI, I need X because of Y, and here are the files, and this what I need, and take in consideration this and whatever, because he was technical, right? And another example of why you need a technical co-founder, because you need someone who can just go into the code base and fix the problem as soon as you find it. And in our case here, we have to push some of the tickets to the guys in Europe. Some of them I take them when I think it makes sense. It's a quick fix, I can go in and fix. It makes sense. But then when it's something out of my domain, I can't just fix. And I'm not working. If you're a co-founder, if it's your company, if it's your thing, if you have 50% of the 50% of the company, you will, if needed, be awake at 1 a.m. to fix the fucking problem. Right? You will, if it has to get to that point. And this is a thought I had today. So if you're ever starting a company, if you decide, if someone actually, first of all, because this happened to me many times at this point, it happened a month ago. In the span of a month and a half, maybe 2, I got like 5 people sending me messages to, oh, let's start a new project together. I see your post, let's start something new together. And I'm like, no, thanks. 2 of them were not technical, and many of the other ones were technical too. But if you just think about the situation for a second, and how basically, I wouldn't say you were screwed, but all the responsibility falls into your plate if you are the technical co-founder. Because if there's a bug in production and you have to fix it at 1 a.m., you have to go fix it at 1 a.m. And if you're ever starting a startup, keep in mind this speech, keep in mind this video and why it's important to have. I'm gonna try to find the link to the video, because it's interesting, honestly. He mentions a few things like to start a startup, you need 3 things. First of all, everyone has to have quit their job, so you can be like full-time working in your startup. You need to have a year's worth of savings, and by savings he means sleeping on the floor, eating noodles and ramen for a year. So this is number 2. And number 3 is that the founding team, the co-founders have to be between 2 and 4, and 50%, at least 50% of the team has to be technical. And I'm gonna try to find a video because it's very interesting, actually. And I could see now it applying to my personal life here, how important it is to basically have a technical co-founder.